Hey guys, I finally wanted to get to a video that I've been wanting to do for a really long time now. Over the last few years of making travel videos, I've used my GoPro a lot in many different situations, and I love my GoPro. It's really small, it fits in your pocket, and it's kind of the camera you can bring anywhere. Anytime there's an opportunity where I don't want to carry out my DSLR, my Sony or whatever, it's really nice to have the GoPro with you. It fits in your pocket and it can capture those memories when you don't have your other stuff with you. So that being said, a lot of times the footage doesn't necessarily match my other camera, or it has a certain GoPro effect that a lot of people don't like a fisheye style. And so these are the things I'd use to make the GoPro footage look a lot better, to make it look more cinematic, and to get the best quality out of your GoPro. So we're gonna start off in Premiere, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do this without using any paid plugins. There is an option for a paid plugin that'll make things look better, but you don't have to have it. After that, I'm gonna jump over into Final Cut 10 and show you guys how to do it there as well. All right guys, so we are in Premiere now, and I brought in 3 clips. This shot is of my friend hiking in the woods, another shot of me pointing the camera upward and spinning it, and a final shot of me on a canoe. I think I just attached the GoPro to the seat in front of me. And that's it. These are just straight out of the camera. I haven't done anything with them at all yet. So the first step is actually an optional step, but I'm mentioning it first because I think it's something that you should do first in the process because it'll make things easier down the road. So the very first step is adding back in motion blur. Now, this is the same thing on the drone. If you don't use an ND filter, you can get footage that kind of looks a little bit stop motion-y. It's not so much an issue if you're in a darker space, but if you're in a brighter one, you can tell a lot of times, like this shot of me canoeing, you'll notice that the paddle is jumping from frame to frame. There's no blur. My hand should be blurred in these shots, but it's actually just stop motion jumping from shot to shot. It doesn't matter so much in the dark footage. You can see my hand kind of enters the frame here. Do you see how it's kind of blurred out a little bit? See, there's no issue with these. But on a shot that's really bright outside, like this one, I would add back in motion blur. So how you can do that is, if you have Adobe Creative Cloud, then After Effects is included. So like I said, this is an optional step. You do not have to do it, but I think it makes it look better. So if you have After Effects, this is basically what you do. Right click, replace with After Effects composition. Don't worry if you guys don't know how to use After Effects. This is literally a one-step process. You press save and close. So we're gonna go over here to the effects. I already have it searched for and selected, but just search for pixel and look for something called pixel motion blur. Drag that over on top of your clip, press save, and that's it. Literally, you're done. You could press enter now, render this clip, and that would be it. I want to show you guys, before we go, another method to do this using a paid plugin to which you would never have to leave Premiere at all if you're interested. You don't have to pay for this. Again, the step is completely optional. So I'm going to go ahead and undo the After Effects adjustment. And over here in the effects, I have it searched for as well already, but it's called Real Smart Motion Blur, RSMB. RSMB. There we go. Drop that on top. That's literally it. You put it on top. In the settings, I'll come over here and click Use GPU. This basically makes it go a little bit faster. It'll use your graphics card. Now, do you see the shot? Look at this. When I'm moving through the frames, do you see how my hand is actually blurring now? If I turn it off, my hand is crystal clear, but that's just not how things look when they're cinematic. If you're moving around a bunch, it should be nice and smooth. So that looks a lot better now. So let's go ahead and render that. Again, it could be the After Effects thing you could be rendering right now, or using Real Smart Motion Blur. And if you don't want to do either of these because it's taking too long, or you don't want to use After Effects or pay, then you don't even have to do this step. You can literally skip it and move on to the next step. Awesome. All right, it's done. It turned green instead. Let's lower the resolution so it's a little bit faster in playback. Oh yeah, that looks so much better already. I do this to just about every drone clip and every GoPro clip that makes it into any of my videos. Any of the stuff from the Tuk Tuk series that I'm releasing right now, apply this effect to every GoPro clip you'll see. All right, cool. Next step is to remove that awful fisheye. So you can see right here on this tree, look at how bent it is. I think that's the dead giveaway to most GoPro footage. So let's go over here and search under the effects. Let's look for GoPro. Now, I kind of experimented with this. You don't have to use the wide setting. You can actually use the Super View or Medium. And I know that these are for the older GoPros, like Hero 4 Session, 3 Black, but I found it actually works just fine on the newer stuff too, from either the 5 or the 4. So this stuff was all shot, I think, with the GoPro 4 Black. So another thing to note is if you have a GoPro 5, you can actually set your field of view instead of using one of these. I think there's a new setting called linear. So it'll actually remove the fisheye effect entirely on its own, and you don't even have to worry about this step at all. But if it looks like a standard GoPro clip, let's come over here. So I'll use the 3 black setting, and I'll use the wide. So look at how much different that is already. And the tree now is straight. So much better. So sometimes if it's a little bit too much and it starts to look a little bit funky, you can tell over here it's a little bit stretched out. I'll delete the effect, and I'll actually just use the medium one. I think it looks a little bit better. It's still fairly straight. It's not as straight, but I think it looks pretty good. So I'm just going to drag medium over, even though this is all shot in wide. I drag it over to all these clips. Let's see how it looks on the tree clip here. Oh yeah, so much better. And then the final shot is this one of me on the canoe. So you can tell this clip is red, and it's taking a bit longer to show the preview because I need to re-render it again because I added a distortion when there was already the motion blur on there. So let's hit enter and let it render again and come back to it. Alright guys, so now we've added the fisheye removal effect, and yeah, that's looking pretty good. This already looks so much better. I think you could do this alone and have footage that's already night and day different. Yeah, that's so much better. This shot looks great, especially with the motion blur. I think that looks really awesome. So now we're going to go to the polishing touches to really make it awesome and stand out. So what I'm going to do here is go ahead and add a adjustment layer. So basically an adjustment layer is going to go over the top of these clips, and it's going to apply whatever effect I put on the adjustment layer to all 3 of these clips. You usually do this for color grading or overall adjustments. In this case, I'm going to use it for color grading and for letterboxing. So let's click down here, adjustment layer. Default settings are fine. Adjustment layer, let's drag it over. We'll do the entire length of the clip. Awesome. So the first thing I want to do is to add those black bars to make it look a little bit more cinematic. Especially with GoPro footage, it makes it look a lot better. So let's go over to your effects, search for crop, perfect. Drag and drop that guy on. Top, we can try, you guys can experiment with this. You can download a template too if you want it to be exact, but I'm just gonna use rough numbers, so that's pretty awesome. Again, our final clip is red because I added something on top of a clip with an effect on it with the smart motion blur. That's fine though for now. Yeah, and another thing you can do when you set up the clip, when you set up the adjustment layer and put the crop in it, is you can actually move the clips underneath it up and down if you want to. So like for this shot, for example, let's adjust the position. There we go. We can actually get the trees in there. That's better. That shot looks pretty good. Let's get more of the tree line in there on this shot. Yeah, that's rad. Cool. There we go. So we could be done here, but again, I want to toss one more step in to make it look even better. If you click on this, let's go over here to your Lumetri color. Now this is where you can start getting into color correction, you can get into color grading, you can really start to manipulate your clips. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to do something that really simple and make it look a lot better. This is something that everyone can do. Basically, I'm going to apply what's called a LUT. A LUT's basically an effect that goes on top of your clip that makes it look better. It's like adding a quick color grading. So the LUT that I'm going to use is called Aspen. I'll put a link below in the description, and the reason I'm using it is because it's a free LUT, so you guys don't have to pay for anything. So once you get the LUT loaded, you'll go to here. You can either install it using the instructions it comes with, or you can click on Browse and select the LUT. I've already installed it, so I'm going to go down here. These are a bunch of other LUTs that I paid for. I'm going to go down here and click on Aspen. I'm putting this in the adjustment layer, and again, I'm on Lumetri color. under the tab that says Creative. So that's set really high right now. We need to dial this way back because the GoPro is already pretty saturated, so that's looking a lot better. Like, look at this stuff. This is GoPro footage. I mean, this looks so much better already. And then some of these shots might need individual tweaking clip by clip. So what you do is you put the cursor here and then click on the clip itself, go back to basic correction, and then you can make adjustments here. So yeah, that's lightening it up a little bit. It's looking a lot better. This clip looks like it's okay. So yeah, so now you'd render out that, and let me show you guys what it would look like with the steps we've done. Alright guys, so we're in Final Cut 10. I'm going to go through this quickly because I think a lot more of you guys are probably Premiere users, but let's go through it. So the first shot is me filming my friend walking through the forest in Sequoia National Park. The second shot is me pointing up toward the trees. And the final shot is of me in a canoe on a lake. So these are all just straight out of the GoPro. I haven't done anything to them yet. They're raw clips. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply a few effects that are going to make this footage look a lot better. Now, I haven't figured out a way to do this just straight stock inside of Final Cut 10. So the only way I've found to do this so far is to add plugins. But the good news is these plugins are free and you can download them pretty easily. So the first plugin is called Alex 4D Wide Angle Fix Effect, and this is the most important. You could use this alone if you didn't want to do anything else. It's free and it would make your footage look so much better and kind of remove that fisheye effect. So let's go ahead and download this guy. And the second plugin, I'll put both of these links in the description, by the way. The second one is called Final Cut 10 LUT Loader. Now, LUTs, if you know what those are, used for color grading, and that's what makes the footage really pop. I think that the footage will look so much better. So this step is optional, you don't need to use it, but I think it'll make the footage look a lot better if you want to use it. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on the first clip, and we're going to come over to our effects, and I'm going to search for Alex, and there it is, Alex 4D Wide Angle Fix. So we'll drop that on top of the clip, and you can already see it's working. You can already see it's so much better. Yeah. So you can kind of play with it. They have a few different settings. I'm guessing this is narrow, medium, and wide. But yeah. So that's great. Let's go ahead and drop this on our other clips as well. Perfect. So that step alone, I think, makes the footage look so much better. Cool. So the next step is probably going to be adding letterboxing and color grading. So these steps are optional, but I think it'll make the footage look a lot better. So let's go over here and let's search for letterbox. Drop that on top. Let's change the letterbox to click show, aspect ratio. It's not bad, 2.35. Awesome. Looks good. Let's drop the letterbox on all three of these clips. Send it to 235. Awesome. Okay, cool. So that alone right there is making stuff look so much better. But now I want to give it that extra pop, and that's where the LUTs come in. So let's drop the LUTs on top. If you're not familiar with LUTs you can do some research online. They're basically called lookup tables, and essentially it's just a way of color grading really simply. They're effects that have already been done that you can apply to your footage to make things look better. I've used it a lot in some of my old series. So there we go. Let's search for LUT. There it is, Final Cut 10 LUT Loader. We'll drop that on top. We'll come over here and let's click Choose External LUT. I'm going to use one called Aspen because it's free and you can download this online. So Aspen, boom, it's on top. It looks like it's a little bit too strong right now. So there's an option over here on the side called Mix. You can scale it back. Let's see, like, there we go, 65%. Let's do the exact same thing on all of these clips. Let's see, choose Aspen, boom. dial it back a little bit. In this clip, it looks like we're gonna have to adjust the colors a little bit because it looks a little bit too dark. So if we go to, let's see, if we go Command 6, that'll bring up our color board. Let's adjust the exposure a little bit. So much better. All right, let's do the final clip. We already have the LUT loader here. Let's click on log. That's way too saturated, so we're gonna, under mix, let's bring it back a little bit. Oh yeah. So, and another thing on this clip is, I kind of want to see more of myself in the tree line. So under letterbox, there's this thing called offset. If we play with this, it'll allow us to move the frame underneath. So there we go. So that alone, look at that, guys. I mean, that's just a huge difference. Let's take a look at this clip. I'll turn the effects on and off. So much better. Thanks so much for watching this, guys. If you have other tutorials you want me to do, definitely comment below and tell me what you guys want to see. I'll be making more how-to videos soon. If you haven't seen my travel videos, I also do cinematic travel vlogs. I've been to Indonesia, India, Japan, a bunch of places, and I created some really cool content that I'm really proud of, so definitely go over and check those out. Also follow me on Instagram. That's where you'll see my latest photos from the trips I've been on, and I Instagram story a lot, so go over to Mike_Dewey on Instagram, and yeah, I guess I will see you guys soon. Later.